Hello, everybody. Welcome to Telli Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and all things in between. I have a very special guest with me today, Miss Nikki Giavasas, and she does literally everything: PR, marketing, fitness, spiritual talks, motivations, all that good stuff. Thank you for coming on, girl.
Thank you for having me. Yes. Oh my
We filmed
goodness.
the episode and our sound got messed up, so we're redoing everything, and now it's kind of just like months later, so
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear the update on everything that's going on, and I'm gonna let you do the cheers for this one.
Here's to life, health, happiness, and my grandbabies.
Amen. Cheers to the grandbabies.
Mm-mm-mm.
Congratulations on a new grandbaby, first
Thank
of all.
you. She wasn't born when we saw. Well, actually, I saw you November.
You were still pregnant. She was,
She
your
was,
daughter,
yeah.
was still pregnant. Oh my goodness. Okay, so for the people that don't know your journey, can you tell us how you got to where you are today?
Oh my gosh. Where do I start?
Wherever you want. You can start from
Can I start
your
from the beginning?
upbringing. Yeah, you
Okay.
can start from your upbringing. You could start from your career. You could start from your grandbabies. You could start from modeling. You could start to fitness. Wherever you want to start.
My brain works better when I start from the beginning and I go
Absolutely.
forward because I can't jump. So let's see. Ohio, I was born. Grew up there. Greek, like strict family. Started gymnastics and ballet at 2, so I got obsessed with gymnastics. I was like super nerd.
Super flexible, by the way.
That's like helped now because it lasted all this time.
I feel like once you train your body to stretch properly and just get there, you're there. But then when you're older and you're not as flexible, when your
Yeah.
bones are, harder,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. Like I've been trying to do the splits since 36 years. So I'm like 36 years old. I still can't do the damn splits. Like I can't.
You know what I did was I would practice like watching TV back then, and I would just be in a split with pillows, and I would go up against the wall. So it's like training. Like you literally have to train for hours at home, like the practice, and then it shows.
So you were doing gymnastics at 2,
Yeah.
and
Then I started running track. I was doing, I had an academic, like, jump to this, like, art school that was for, like, they said geniuses. So, like, a school for the arts, a magnet school. So that's when I started performing and doing, like, drama, all that stuff. And then that advanced into, I did cheerleading. And then high school, I was, like, actually, middle school and high school, I was doing like student council, all of that stuff, like French Club, Business Professionals of America, Junior Engineers of Texas Society, because I moved to Texas. And then I went to college, but I already had AP credit, so when I had kids, I still wasn't off track because I had all the AP credit.
right. So you was already like college bound, college ready, college credits, and then when you were in college, did you take on fitness like there?
Actually, before, in high school, I started doing fitness competitions. So I did like Galaxy, Fitness America. Even after I had my daughter, which was in college, I had a track scholarship and an academic scholarship, but then I had to quit track because I had my daughter freshman year, I think. Yeah. And so then I did a fitness competition. I still placed for nationals
wow.
9 months after having a baby.
Oh wow.
So like the
How
genetics
was it
were there.
How was it training for that? Because I mean, like I know after me having a kid, and I thought I was doing something after planking 1 month after birth, and they were like, "Oh no, your stomach muscles aren't strong enough," and I was like, "To hell if they are strong
Right.
enough, because I'm planking because this stomach needs to be flat. Like
Yeah.
I need it flat by yesterday, and it's already time to get back in the groove of just like making money again, because
Yep.
you don't want to be kind of like on maternity leave for too long, like I want to generate my own money and get back to that point of life of just being able to do stuff, and I feel like a lot of people kind of use having a child as like a burden of I can't do this. Yeah, like I can't, but you can do whatever it is that you want to do. It's just your choice on if, hey, I'm going to work and have a baby, or I'm going to sit at home and take care of my baby and, miss out on work. But I was like, I need to work, so I need to lose weight. I need to get this, time managed accordingly. So how is that like training for a fitness competition after having a baby? Because that's a lot of time.
That is. Like, I look back while you're saying that, and I'm like, it was so much easier because there wasn't social media, so I could do so much more then because I wasn't distracted for hours with my phone at all. So I was doing marketing at Coca-Cola, American Express. I was doing the fitness competitions, college. I would take her to college with me, breastfeed in class, train, take her to the gym. Like, she was always with me.
Right.
So then once my son was born, same thing. But I worked.
Yeah.
Like, I had to work.
And it's hard, too. And it's hard to, like, I commend you for it, because I know how it is to work and have a newborn that constantly needs to be fed and constantly needs to be changed and needs attention.
Yeah.
And just knowing that they're sleeping and, checking to see if they're alive. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I get it. And I can't imagine, having to go through a competition, because I know when I was trying to lose weight, it was just for myself, not to like compete against everyone else that probably didn't have a fucking baby.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
They did
so
not.
It's like, oh my God, how am I going to get my stomach to look better than theirs after just developing a whole child, a whole being in me? So like that, I bet that was, how long did it take you to get in shape?
It's crazy. It sounds bad, but like in 5 days I had abs. But I think
you were working out throughout your pregnancy.
I was working out throughout, and before that, doing gymnastics, like I had like a strong six pack, like you could see. And before I was like in puberty, it was like a little bit of boobs, and then the abs looked like the same. So they were like chunks just from being an athlete. So then running track and then working out the whole time, it was pretty easy. And I think breastfeeding helped, because that burns so many calories.
So many calories.
And I was so busy.
Oh my gosh, with me breastfeeding, my son probably was born with teeth, girl, because my nipples was just like bleeding out. I was like, okay, where's the Similac? I can't take it no more. Like, I don't care how much weight it makes me lose, I just can't.
Yeah.
And my daughter was the same way. They're just like, sounds crazy, but hard suckers. Like, they were just like very hard and attached to the nipple, and I was like, you guys can do this on plastic, not on me, because I can't take it. Like, it was just sore and it hurt. And like when your body and your breast produce milk, it's like that tender sore feeling of like, it's just not comfortable to me. Some people enjoy breastfeeding a lot, and I'm just like, I just don't like the feeling of it. It's not comfortable to me.
My son was like that. He started using his teeth really soon, so he was like a lot. My daughter was probably at least 2 years, so total was like 3 years of breastfeeding. But he was like, give me food. Like, he didn't. It wasn't enough for him.
Yeah, no, I just couldn't. It was just too painful for me. Like, and I know it sounds selfish, but I tried. Like, with my son, I did it for 6 months. With my daughter, maybe 2 days, 3 days max. I was like, oh no, where is the bottle? In the hospital, girl. I was in the hospital, so I was like, give me the Similac, please.
That's the hardest time, because they won't latch at first, and then you're like, please.
Yeah, like, come here. It's good for you. Like, you need it. You're gonna want it. So yeah, I was just like straight. And my daughter literally eats everything now, like raw food, sushi, caviar, and she loves it. So the grandbabies.
Yeah, I'm thinking about them. I'm like, gosh, she had them at home. So it's so different than like in the hospital.
She had them at home, and you were there. And how was that experience for you and her?
It was so good, because her man's mom was there, like, visiting. So they called and they're like, she's in labor. We really need you. And so I think being a hypnotherapist and doing Reiki like helped so much, because when I came in, like, even the midwife was saying, like, we feel the Reiki, like, it was helping everyone.
Oh, wow.
Like, as I was doing it. And then she was doing hypnobirthing, too, so me, like, actually doing hypnotherapy kind of helped.
So what is hypnobirthing? Because I'm not familiar, and I don't want to sound, like, uneducated. I'd rather ask questions to know, so what is hypnobirthing?
I think it's more, like, just visualizing, like, staying calm, because it's all about breathing. I remember when I was giving birth, they're like, just breathe. And I'm like, you're stressing me out just saying just breathe.
Right. I feel like I'm breathing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's the environment and how people are acting. So when you have something to focus on, a way to soothe yourself, because it's like a intense process, especially with no medication.
Right.
And it was 28 hours. So like, almost everybody slept. And I was the only one like still up, like doing Reiki, like just being there with her. But it was intense.
28. Girl, my labor for my daughter was 26 hours, and I thought, I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I was literally like in the maybe like the 23rd hour, and I was like, okay, I cannot take this pain anymore, and I had to get an epidural. And I was so mad because I didn't want to get the epidural, but it was so the close. Pain was like, I could not tolerate it anymore. My contractions were so close together. I couldn't. I was like crying, and I hate to cry especially from pain. Like if I can tolerate it, I'll tolerate it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't take it anymore. Like this is just too long of just like intense pain.
Yes.
And it won't go away, and it's not coming in like waves anymore. It's like every couple seconds. Like
yeah, this pain is different than any other pain.
Yes, absolutely. And this isn't my first kid or my first rodeo, but it gets tough.
See, my first one, I did epidural. Actually, both. So I don't know what it was really like to be natural.
And your daughter just did it 28 hours straight.
But then with my grandbaby, it was so weird because with both, she's like, when are they going to be born? And I said like the exact day, the exact time. It was like, I tuned into them and I could just know. And then so the second time people were like, I trust you, I'll be there. But the midwife was like, I scheduled it. And it was the same day that I said and the same time. But it was only 2 hours. Like, breeze.
Wow.
I was like, 2 hours? Have another.
So wait, the first time your daughter had a baby, it was 2 hours of labor.
No, 28 was the first, and then the second one was 2.
Oh,
but they were huge, like 11 pounds. So,
and she had them both naturally. Wow.
Like she's made for having babies.
Oh my God, more power to her. My first one was 9,
See,
and it was 2 pushes.
Oh.
Yeah, literally, my boy was 9 and 2 pushes. 9 hours and 2 pushes, easy. My daughter was 26 hours, and Lord knows how many pushes. But by the time I was pushing, I didn't even know I was pushing because I had the epidural on.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, the baby's head's out," and I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Really?
And it was so crazy because like Deontay, I told him to go get food for us because you're hungry. I mean, at that point you're not eating for a whole day. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, get me like lobster, get me lamb, all types of stuff that I was ordering." And when he came back with the food, here's my legs spread open with the baby's head coming out, and I didn't even feel it. And he was like, "Oh, dog, we need you," So the baby was coming out, and I didn't even feel it. Because I was like, I'm hungry. Like, I know this baby's coming any second. And I was like, if you get food, what if she comes while you're getting food? Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. And I did not even feel a thing.
But they say you go to the bathroom. So it's like, do you go to the bathroom more if you eat? Because I remember I had the same thing with the head coming out, and the doctor went to get donuts. So they're like, the head's out, but he's not here, so we have to wait.
That's so crazy. So he went to go get donuts, and your baby was already coming out.
Crowning, yeah.
Oh my! How did that happen? Like, what was the end result? Did the nurses deliver, or
no? We had to wait, like with just his head coming out. But I was in Ohio. I don't know if they do it like a little different there.
Oh my goodness, that's insane, intense.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so spiritual journey.
Yes.
How and why did you get into like Reiki and healing?
I think I was always into healing, but in Ohio there was no Reiki. It was like, Bible Belt, so it was like church. So I was into church like so young, and then I went to like a Catholic high school, Christian college. So I was like exploring, and in college we would do like extra credit was going to church. So then I was like, okay, I would go to church, and every time I would cry, like the energy, I just wanted to heal people. And I was like, even before I even did Reiki, I could lay hands on people and heal them, or just like my presence would heal them, or like help them manifest, whatever. So then once I knew what Reiki was like 2008. So then I was doing it, and people were like, oh my God, your hands are already like, you could feel the energy. So I think you're just like gifted with it. Some people do it by learning, but it's like natural.
That's amazing. So what do you feel like is one of your best Reiki journeys with someone that you've done Reiki with?
There's a couple good ones. Like my dad was really sick, and he had COPD, and so I would go visit every year because he was already like 50 when I was born, so he was older. And so I went, and they didn't like believe in it necessarily, but then my brother was like, he had plantar, how do you say that, fasciitis or something like that. And so I healed his foot, and he was like, what the hell? And then I went to heal my dad because he couldn't breathe. And then since they didn't believe, he was on an oxygen machine, and like the numbers went up, and they're like, oh shit, like this works. That gives me goosebumps still, because then he like stayed around a couple more years.
Oh wow.
And so even when he was passing, they asked me to come be there to help him pass. And so I was doing Reiki, and it was crazy because like I'd never been taught how to help someone pass, but they were like, help him like so he goes to heaven, like pray for him, all that stuff, because I was also ordained like 2009. So I was there for both, and then I'm like doing the Reiki not even knowing, and then I look up and it's like on the screen like these ancient Egyptian, like similar to what I was doing when someone's passing. I was like, that's crazy weird. Like,
Oh my goodness.
I'm doing this without knowing.
Do you ever feel like you have moments of like almost like, I can't believe this is happening, or I can't believe I have this power or ability to make this happen, or just better life, or better this person's mentality or judgment, or what they're going through, their issues?
Yeah, because I did it in COVID. It was like some people were in comas asking me to help, and I would go in and they'd come out. Like,
wow.
And that gives me goosebumps too, because like that was dark energy, like nasty. And then there was a guy that had cancer and I healed him. So I was like,
do you
different
feel
things.
like their energy reflects on you, or you feel like what they're going through?
I don't feel what they're going through, but I was on a flight going to Florida and a woman passed out and she was like in the aisle. And I was like right in this front row where she was like right there. And they were like, call a doctor, call a doctor. And I was with like my ex at the time. He's sitting there and I like pushed his hand off me, and because I was like, I'm going to do Reiki. And then no doctor came, so I just started doing Reiki like this. And then she got right up. And I was like, you didn't see that? And he's like, yeah, I saw. What do you want me to say? I'm like, we're picking up. Like, what the heck? You can at least acknowledge that she got up without a doctor. Like, you saw the energy. Like, you saw her get up. And so that was good. What else? Sometimes people that, like athletes, would say they'd be on injured reserve. They'd have to play in the playoffs or like championships. I would go heal them, and then they'd play, win, kill it. Sometimes people want it just to like win games.
Right.
Or like so manifest.
More so manifesting that energy of positivity and goodness or healing into someone's body.
Yeah. And also some people like couldn't have babies, so I would help them, then they'd have babies. So it's like, it's also weird because you don't want to talk about it.
Right, but it's like, what do you think is like, do you think for certain people or certain things you say certain things to fit what it is that they need personally, or is it like something that you already have, like, okay, for example, if someone is injured, I have a blueprint on what to say when they're injured, you know, or is it more customizable for each person and what you feel at that time?
It's like I tune into them and then it's customizable. Like I don't have a blueprint, and then I just tune in and it happens. So like when the people were in the comas, like I went in and it was almost like going into the sunken place where they are and like pulling them out. And I didn't know what I would see or what would happen. So like to have them come out, and then usually when they come out, they have like this newfound spirituality.
That is so crazy to me. Like, okay, so like, let's say, for example, like you said, someone's in a dark place, right? So if they're in the dark place and you go into that place with them, what do you experience from like the outside coming in?
See, that's the hard part, is because I wonder, because I have experienced like a lot with sickness myself. So I wonder if I'm experiencing that because I've stepped into their karma, possibly, by pulling them out of, maybe I'm not supposed to intervene, but I've been asked to intervene. Right. So now I kind of think twice, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, like how is it on you? Because they're, you know, like usually, well, not usually, but like what I've heard is like people, when they do certain things like that, whether it's like psychic ability or, you know, prophecy or Reiki or any type of healing, like energy is said to be spread, right?
Yeah.
So how does it, where it's like you see what they've gone through and you're like trying to get them out, but then you go to that point of like, am I supposed to do this? Or is it their time to really experience this in that moment? You know, maybe they need to experience it to heal or on their own, or maybe your healing isn't at that particular time what they may need or what they might appreciate.
Right.
You know, so it's
they
like,
might
how
not
do
be
you,
asking for it.
Yeah, like how do you, for example, like deal with the like the struggles of what you might be healing a person with, or you know, have you ever encountered the things that they might go through in that moment?
I have, because I think at first I would just want to help so badly that I would jump in, and now that I started having sickness from mold, and I was like, why am I moving to these places and I keep getting it? And then I was like, let me take a step back. Maybe it's because I'm intervening and I'm not meant to intervene. Maybe they're supposed to go through this to be stronger. Like,
right.
you know, usually when you go through something hard, it does make you stronger.
Right.
So maybe I'm intervening when I shouldn't yet. So now, like, someone just asked me to go to the hospital, and someone was in a really bad situation with their health, and I was like, this time I'm not going. Because it was like flying across the country, and I was like, you know what? I've done this so much, and I've helped people manifest millions and billions and heal and come out of comas, but what if I'm not supposed to?
Right. So how is
now
that?
I don't even say I do it.
Yeah, so how is that transition for you now? Like, it's like, okay, what if I'm not supposed to? Or what if I am supposed to and I'm not doing it? You know, where does that put your mentality on, like, you know, like, let's say, for example, this person's in a coma and you know you could potentially help, and then you don't help, and then this person passes.
Right.
And then, like, you have to live with the fact that, like, oh my gosh, this person passed without my help. But are they meant to pass without my help? Was their transition into the next world or wherever they're going, you know, was that meant at that time?
That's the thing, is you don't know.
Right.
But I had someone that they were in a coma from COVID, and I helped, and then they started like recovering, and then the person acted like the person that asked me to do it kind of acted so like rude that I was like, I'm not helping anymore. And then I pulled back and I stopped helping, and then the person ended up passing. So I was like, is that my fault because I didn't help anymore, or was I never supposed to
in the first
place? Yeah.
So that's kind of what, like, altered your decision to where it's like, you wanted me to do this, now that it's done, you're mad at me for doing it. Do you feel like certain people, like, let's just say, for example, maybe that person, he or she, didn't want that person to live because they were dealing with so much, or because it was so much of a battle within, you know, it could be that person's health, or they had a hard life because they were unhealthy, or whatever the case is.
Well, I noticed that person started getting a lot of financial and other benefits. So maybe them being the victim of being, you know, the spouse of that person actually started benefiting them so much. So that's why it seemed like they were so ungrateful, because it was almost like, okay, well, now I'm going to benefit. Like, I'm getting all this stuff. And so it's like, maybe they're like, I'll see you in the next life. I don't know.
Right.
But it's like,
so it came with, like, deeper rooted issues. Yeah. To where it's like, are you really grateful for what I am doing for your family? And instead, it's like, you really have ulterior motives into other things.
Exactly.
Do you feel like you sense that from people too? Like, where it's like, hey, you know, I feel your energy and this is what you're giving me, and not in a sense of like, hey, this is something that's positive, or that, hey, this is something that's good, where it's like, do I want to help this person because they're giving off this negative energy?
Yeah, I've noticed that too, especially with athletes. Like, I helped one and he was injured. Like, I flew there to help, and they had the playoffs. I think they were in it or coming. I think they were in it and he wasn't playing. And then I helped. He started playing. He was like, it was almost like forgotten about. And I'm like, if I'm going to be doing this, I'd rather, instead of like this,
you want the appreciate
it, and like help other people. Don't like keep it your little secret, so you benefit as like your lucky charm, so you're the one benefiting. Like, I'd rather you pass it on to people that need it.
Right. Absolutely.
Like,
they kind of get to a point of like, this is mine, I don't want anyone to know about it, type of situation.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like, how do you feel like the stress of taking on people's issues are affected in your life?
It made me kind of reserved and introverted, whereas before I would be more outgoing and just be like, hey. I was like, I don't know if that's the Ohio and the Texas in me, but now I'm so reserved that I don't like to say anything. I'm like, you'll just have to learn my good attributes eventually, but I'm not going to just share it.
Right.
Now I'm just like...
Yeah, like you're conserving that energy for when it matters most.
Yeah.
I don't blame you, girl, because I just feel like there's so many people that aren't grateful for what, you know, opportunity or situation or taking an issue away from them, and then it's like, okay, do you know how that happened? Do you not want to acknowledge how it happened?
Right.
Do you not see that it happened this way? And, you know, like what... And it's almost like they feel like other things around them change the situation as opposed to what you actually did for them.
Right. They kind of forget. Or they have some kind of resentment. It's weird. Like, they'll get what they wanted, and then like they'll envious. Have like a and then it's almost like they want to keep it hidden more. And it's like, you got that, you asked for that. Or it's like they want Academy Awards, or they want certain deals, they get the exact thing. And then it's like, why are you hiding it? Like, just acknowledge it publicly.
Yeah.
Like, you asked for
Do you
it.
feel like it's something that, like, people are ashamed to admit because it's not, like, biblical, or it's not what society pushes out there as a sense of healing or a sense of, like, you know, spiritualism? Do you feel like it's that mentally for, like, the athletes, or, like, the people that might not feel like traditional medicine is helping them, so they go to a Reiki healer?
Yeah.
Or, you know, just something that is like, okay, this is different, but everything else failed, so let me try this. But, you know, even if this works, I'm not going to acknowledge it because it's taboo, and it's
taboo,
not,
yeah.
you know, what society wants us to showcase.
Right, because it's going to be like, what is that, a witch doctor? What is that?
Right.
Some people don't know what it is, and then publicly they do have to just only say that they're a Christian, shout out God. It's like, I don't disbelieve, I believe more than a lot of people, but
Right.
it's kind of like a touchy subject.
So how would you, for the people that don't know what Reiki is, how would you describe Reiki?
I think it's like, you could say God, whatever life force comes through, and it's an energy that comes through you, and it comes out your hands, and it's like laying hands. So, like, if you look back in the Bible days, like, they literally laid hands and healed people.
Right.
But it wasn't like, I'm thinking, I'm just blessed with this gift. It's like, I'm being used as a vessel for this gift.
Right.
So, like, I could be in a room with someone and heal them. I don't have to, like, necessarily do this. I could be across the country, across the world, and they could feel it. And they feel it, and they say it. Because once you're a master, you do distance Reiki. So you could heal pretty much anything.
And how long have you been doing Reiki for?
God, since 2008? How many years is that?
Oh, that's...
What's the math?
wow.
17? No. I can't do the math.
I can't do that. What's 2008 and 2023? No math geniuses here.
2020.
15 years?
Okay.
15 years? 15 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
When do you feel like you mastered it? Because they say like 10,000 hours is how long it takes to master a craft, and you've clearly done over 10,000 hours.
Yeah,
so.
not long. There was a time in the beginning that it felt super powerful. Like, I was at the beach, and I did this to my hand, and, like, I changed my skin. My daughter was looking. I took, like, the veins away, and she's like, what did you just do? And so I was like, there were times that I'd have to hold back because, like, you could physically see things change.
Oh, wow.
And it was like having, like, a special gift, but it's still
How would
magical.
you describe that to your daughter when she first asked you, like, hey, I have this gift, I have this talent, and I want to use it for the better good, and your daughter saw it physically in front of her eyes? What did she think, and how did she take when you described it to her?
I don't think she ever questioned anything because she just saw it all happening. So
Right.
she'd see, like, the people and what was happening. I did it to her friends, and they would feel like the crystals or they'd feel things heat up. They'd fall asleep. Like, they would feel the benefits, so they knew it was real.
So
I think
she
it was just
never like
nice.
she never questioned you or anything, and was like, okay, I'm here for it. I'm, you know, but how would she take it if, like, other people prejudged you?
I don't even know. I think her friends were kind of like...
They believed you because it happened on them.
Yeah, so they knew, and they were just like, wow, like, they wanted to have me have, like, a little secret magical school.
To teach them, but do you feel like it's something that can be taught, or do you feel like it's something that is naturally given to certain individuals?
I think it's also naturally with kids. Like, kids have a magic, and then people teach them, like, don't be like that, don't act like that, and they get so many rules that they start to forget. But when I'm with kids, I, like, love that energy, and that's why I do want to open a school, because that's when there's, like, no limit to the magic until
Absolutely.
people, like, try to stop them believing.
Absolutely. And I feel like it's all what you instill in, you know, it starts in the household, and all of what you instill in your kids, in your family, in your friends, and it just all, you know, goes back to what it is that they're taught at the end of the day. So if they're taught, hey, you know, this is real, and you see that it's real, then what can you say or do to deny that if you physically see it? Because I feel like everyone is like, seeing is believing. So if, you know, let's just say, because I believe in literally everything. Like, you know, I believe in aliens, I believe in mermaids. I just feel like as a human being, we're taught not to believe all these things, but it's like, there's so many places on this earth alone, the water that we haven't explored, we haven't stepped foot in, and we haven't like got to the bottom of the ocean, or you know, just those things. And it's like you don't think there's living organisms outside of earth, or like on earth that we haven't explored yet. You know, like how I feel like all these things that we watch in movies are things that have happened, whether it's in our past life or, you know, the life we live now, that people go through and experience, and they just don't want to share it because they're scared of what people think, or prejudge, or like, I just don't see how people don't think that there's not artificial intelligence, or like, you know, unidentified objects, creatures, or, you know, it just doesn't make sense. Like,
well,
it just,
now they're confirming it so much. They're like, oh yeah, we lied to you and we forgot to tell you, but now the proof is out.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it just makes all the sense in the world of just, you know, different things happening that we are aware of but don't want to believe because we're in fear.
Yeah, it is the fear. But fear is what controls a lot of people. Yeah,
absolutely. And I feel like that's kind of the downfall that we have as humans, is we fear things, but it's like there's things that are just inevitable, whether it's death, whether it's, you know, sickness, whether it's just life. That it's like, why fear if you know it's going to happen? You know, why be scared?
That's the hardest one, is death.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't want to die, or I don't want it to hurt, but it's like, okay, how long is it going to hurt?
Yeah.
And then where do you go?
Yeah. And then who's to say that you can't have your next life be your best life?
Right.
You know? Like, what if this life for you was hard and unhappy and, you know, just not what you want it to be, whether that's your career, whether that's your spouse, whether that's your family, you know? And then the next life, you're this perfect person with a perfect spouse, with a perfect family, a perfect job, and you're just, you know, missing out on your future blessings because you don't know what life is there to give you.
Exactly. I had my brother, one passed when I was 10 in a car accident, and one when I was 12.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's like, but what if they did go on to their best life after?
Right.
So it's like, what do you do? Like, do you mourn, like, or do you celebrate their life?
Absolutely. And I feel like, too, you know, when people die when they're sick, I feel like they're in a place of not suffering anymore, you know, where it's not so hard on them and their bodies and the people around them that they love.
Right.
You know,
it's stressful.
Yeah, it's very, very stressful. Very stressful. We play this game for everyone that comes.
Okay.
It's stressful too. So now that we're on the topic of stress, I'm going to stress you out a little bit more.
Okay.
So it's called Pick Your Poison, and I'm going to play with you. It's a game of would you rather. So would you rather do what's on this card, or would you rather do what's on that card?
So it's like life.
And yeah, it's pretty much life. So people could get to know you outside of social and everything that they already know of you. So I play with you. You pick 6 cards each, and we just pick our poison.
I think people don't know so much about me. Like, if they just look at like Instagram or social, they're like, they get no idea.
I always tell people it's all about what you want to showcase, not necessarily your everyday, every moment, every second of your life. Like, you're not going to show someone when you're, I wouldn't personally, like, you know, out of bed, not brush my teeth, or like, you know, like, I want to show you what I want to show you. It's my Instagram for a reason, just like it's your Instagram for a reason. You know, and it kills me when people follow you for, let's just say, your relationship, or let's say they want to see your kids, or let's say they want to see fashion, and then as soon as you post something outside of that realm of what they want to see, it's like prejudgment. Like that. And you're like, it's my Instagram though. You know?
Exactly.
It's craziness. Okay, rules of the game.
Want to give 2 more?
Have to answer. You can't remix your answer, but you can give an explanation as to why you answered the way that you did.
Okay.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go.
Okay. Let's see.
I saw one.
Okay.
Oh my God.
This is good.
All right.
Would you rather have crimes against you be considered legal and everyone knows it, or eat a human heart?
Wait, what? Against me personally?
Yeah, so have crimes against you be considered legal and everyone knows it. Oh, so every crime that you've done is considered legal. So like, let's say you go kill someone and it's like, oh, it's legal, but I killed someone. Everyone knows you killed someone, but it's legal. So you're like, I'm good because it's legal. Or eat a human heart.
Definitely the first. I haven't committed that many crimes. Actually, the only crime I committed wasn't a crime, but I had a rental car, and then they reported it as stolen, and it wasn't actually. They just had the paperwork wrong, so I got arrested.
Oh, wow.
And my daughter was in the car. I was actually headed to court because I had a case against someone, and then they ran the plates, and they thought it was a Grand Theft Auto. So they pulled the guns on me, and then I was like telling them like what to do, and they're like,
did you sue them afterwards? Because then you got arrested for wrongfully accused Grand Theft Auto?
No, it was at a time when what we were talking about like the Reiki and stuff. I was like sick at the time, so I was like,
it's too much stress.
I can't do this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's intense. Okay, it's on you.
Okay, no human hearts for me. All right. Would you rather? I ask you this: exclusively date people opposite your normal gender preference.
So date women. Would I rather date women or?
What's the other choice?
The next card.
Find your significant other on an escort site.
Ooh.
That's
okay. If my significant other was on an escort site, I would be like, why the hell are you on an escort site to begin with? Because you shouldn't need to be getting paid to have sex with people. Like who you are, you shouldn't want to get paid for having sex. I mean, like if that's the case, go be a porn star and handle your business.
Price, yeah.
Right.
Every
person.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if I mean, like it's on a site, so now everyone knows you're an escort, and it's like to go from a professional boxer to an escort, I would really be like, what in the hell? Why? And yeah, like what? Like what are you thinking? Like I know you love sex, like who doesn't? But it's almost like, why would you do that? You know, it would more so me like question like why.
Yes.
But I would rather do that than to be with someone that like I don't have a preference of being with. But I would be like, just why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a reason, but because I feel like everything happens for a reason, right?
You get some therapy.
And yeah, I would be like, what's going on for you to just want to be out there and, you know, be an escort?
Yeah.
It would be more of a question as opposed to like I would really want to know why.
That's funny because I was just at a birthday dinner and they were talking about like guys that are thirsty on comments. And one girl said, like, that means he has a wound, like an unhealed wound.
Yeah,
so that's kind of similar.
Issues.
That's a sign of a deeper rooted issue that he's like putting that out there if he already has a person.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is a good point.
Yeah, 110%. I'm just like, yeah, it's a sign that something is bothering you internally for you to explore that like field of work, I guess you could say. Because I would be like, yeah, that's not something I would expect, but then it's like, what's going on to make you want to do this?
Yeah,
because it's definitely something deeper.
Yes, it is. Maybe, who knows, when they were young,
exactly,
something happened.
Agreed. Okay, so
boy, I'm drinking for this.
Yeah. Would you rather have your skin be as flammable as gasoline or have a snapping turtle bite your genitals?
The turtle.
The turtle? Oh my gosh. I just feel like that meat inside our clitoris, whatever.
Oh, it's actually the clit?
Like, whatever. I mean, like, how would that feel? Like, because I can't even imagine even getting that soft skin, like, pinched. You know, where it's like it's just a soft, tender skin. It's almost like the skin like on your inner arm, but more tender.
I have a friend though that she got those shots in the G shots, and she said it was amazing. So maybe
what?
Maybe it's not that bad. But I was like, to picture the needle going in.
Oof!
I can't even imagine.
I can't.
But I like tattoos.
Yeah, I like tattoos too. But it's like it's different when you're having like something bite as something that's so sensitive already, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't feel like it would feel like a needle. I feel like it would feel like, well, maybe it would, because it's like a pinch, I guess, right?
And their mouths are so like delicate, and it seems like they can't do much. Like they're usually
I feel like snapping turtles.
Oh,
I've seen snapping turtles snap, and I'm like, God damn, I know that hurt. And that's just like on an arm, let alone on like your cooch.
All right.
Girl,
maybe more on the boob.
Yeah, I would rather on my nipple than like in my vagina. That would I mean, even with your nipple, like if it's sensitive, if you're about to start your period and you know the sensitivity feeling of like, ouch, everything that it just touches, it's like it hurts almost like when you produce milk.
Yeah.
But
I had a surgery when I had to be awake because I had they said a blood clot in my chest, so they had to like just shoot me with a needle and cut my nipples off to like cut the tissue out. But I was awake, so I'm like, if I can handle that, I can handle a turtle.
Girl, no, absolutely. More power to you. It's on you.
Okay. Would you rather draw a penis between your first and last name every time you write your name? Oh, God. Or drink 12 ounces of someone else's chewing tobacco spit?
Oh, hell no. I'm doing the penis name thing because first of all, the chewing tobacco is already nasty for me. Like, just the whole process of chewing tobacco, putting it in your mouth, spitting it out, spitting it in a cup, looking at the cup, like that whole process is disgusting. I would never, ever be able to, like, be with a man that choose to, like, you know, certain things is just like a no for you.
Yep.
That is just non-negotiable. Like, that is like, I'd rather you smoke. I hate cigarettes, but I'd rather you smoke cigarettes than chew tobacco.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just that, and it's just bad for your mouth. Like,
it is. You can get cancer.
Yeah,
it erodes so it inside.
It's so bad for you.
Yeah.
It's on me.
Penis. Wait, you're drawing a penis between your first and last name?
Yeah, I'm drawing a penis all day.
Telli penis.
I'm doing it all day.
Okay.
My last but not least, pull all your fingernails out one by one, or stick your hand in a fryer.
Oh God, that's horrible.
Both painful.
I can't do the fingers. Fingernails?
Fingernails, one by one.
Fryer?
Or your entire hand in a fire.
Oh my God. Fire though. And it's gonna take off my skin or pull out my fingernails. I think the fryer would be faster.
Ooh, I'm doing the nails. I'm only doing the nails because I can stick press-ons on and it'll look like it's still there, but my hand being burned is just going to be burnt forever.
True, but it's like 1 second of pain versus like dragging out the pain. Yeah, I don't want to do the torture to myself like that.
But then it's like lifetime torture with this quick pain. And then you have to have this, you know,
surgeries probably.
Yeah, surgery, skin grafting, all of that not good stuff.
But versus one by one, you could do it.
I probably couldn't do it, but that's what I would choose to do. Just because I know there's like, afterwise, you can probably make it look like nothing happened.
True.
Knowing that something happened, or you could put acrylic on skin, you know, like... You'll be fine. Your nails will still look good. But if the fryer, it's quick, but that pain is going to be shown on your hand.
All right, I'm down with the pain, actually. What if you can take a pain pill and then pull them out and you don't really feel it?
There's your explanation.
There you go.
That's what I would do. Numb it all up.
Numb it all up. Because they have that numbing for tattoos also. I forget what it's called.
Lidocaine.
Yes.
So you just numb everything up, and I'm like, all right, here's one, here's two. So it's not as torturous as, I would feel.
I'm switching my answer. All right, here we go. Step in dog poop at least once every time you leave the house, or lose a week of your life every time you have sex.
I'm doing the dog poop.
Really?
Yeah.
You'll step.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I have a very good sexual relationship with my spouse that I feel like I wouldn't want to lose every time we have sex to lose my life. Like, if we're doing it multiple times a day, then how are we gonna like and next thing you know, I'm like dead, you know, like croaked over dead because I had sex too much, and I don't think he would like that either. So I'm choosing the I don't even remember what the other one was. The dog
step
poop.
in dog poop at least once every time you leave the house.
Yeah, because that's not bad.
Yeah, you can do that. Get new shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Or clean it off. As long as the smell doesn't stay on you the whole day, then I'm good with that. Like, step on dog poop, clean it out, wipe it off, whatever I need to do.
Yes.
And it's once a day. Like, you know, who's to say that it doesn't happen in the morning or whatever. I do that over than die every time I have sex. Like, take out life.
Every week. A week every time. That'll add up.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
you only
a lot.
get 52 weeks in a year. you'll die fast. No.
That's
But that's good you guys are on the
calculate.
same page. Like, there's some people that don't match the drive, but at least you're good.
I mean, like, there's, honestly speaking, like, if I gave him the opportunity to dictate how much we have sex, we'd have sex all day and we wouldn't get anything done because we were having sex all the time. But, you know, like, I try to get on his level of, like, I enjoy having sex with him, but it's like we also have insides and they have outsides, and we have a hole. And, you know, once that hole gets penetrated so much, it becomes the point where it's not comfortable. So, you know, putting that into consideration, like, we have to kind of span our sex, I guess, moments.
Yeah, because they say they get sore, too, from you being...
Yeah.
Like,
penetrated. No, absolutely, 110%. And it's just like, you know, they can get bruises too.
Exactly.
And we can get cut open. So it's just like, just keeping that into consideration, you know, there has to be breaks.
Maybe Daddy would rip me. So, yeah.
Okay, last question on you.
That was it.
That was it? That was
I don't have any more. Yeah.
Okay, so tell everybody where they can find you, what you have coming up, your grandkids, how beautiful they are, all that good stuff.
Where can you find me? I just did a show on iHeart. You can see my podcast, which is just, it's my name. You can see me on YouTube. I just did a funny
backcracking.
Yeah, you saw it?
I saw it. Hilarious.
People were like, she's not a grandma. I'm like, it was actually funny.
But the thing is, I feel like people judge off of how you look. And and it's like, you could be a grandma at a young age.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that you have to be a grandma with white hair. Like, why can't you be a hot grandma and keep it moving?
Exactly.
You know, it's like, oh, you're a grandma because you look a certain way. That goes back to, like, what society pushes out, how people look and what they need to look like to be a certain person. Which is insane.
I've always dealt with that, like, preconceived stereotypes, and it's like, oh, you're actually smart. Oh, you're actually spiritual. And it's like, don't judge the book by the cover.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Can't help how we're born.
Same.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, there's people that think I dance, and I'm like, I can't dance for shit.
Me either. I can't even walk in high heels.
Girl, I can't even twerk. So it's like, they're like, oh, you really can't. And they don't believe me. And I'm like, no, I can't. But also, I feel like I don't try hard enough to be able to do it because I just don't really have interest on, like, wanting to learn. But then when I see people dance, I'm like, damn, I wish I could do that.
There's a twerking class. We could go.
I don't know.
You're like, I don't want to learn.
No, I do want to learn because it's like, you know, I want to be able to, when I go out, be like, okay, look at my little move, look at my one little move. But it's like, I don't know. I just, that passion isn't there for me. And it's like, if I feel like I don't have that passion to, like, genuinely want to get up and do it, then I feel like it's not going to be the best version of what it could have been if I genuinely want to do it, you know?
But it's also not something you need to fall back on. You have so many other qualities that are gifts. It's like, you're like, that's like, way down here.
You can't be good at everything,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, maybe that's lacking, but I have all this other stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what we feel like as people. We always want to, you know, be perfected in everything that we do, which is an issue that I deal with myself. And it's like, you want to perfect everything that you do, but we're not meant to be perfect. And that's kind of like, you know, how do you live with, I guess, achieving perfection if that's not what it's meant to be?
And it's not meant to ever be what you have.
Exactly.
That's like the journey of life, is accepting that we all have imperfections, flaws, and we embrace those. And those are usually what help us inspire other people, when we embrace those, because then they're like, okay, you're human, and now I can relate to you. Yeah,
absolutely. So you guys tune into all things that Nikki G, because I will butcher her last name if I say it now. I was over here practicing in the beginning that she has going on, and tune into her beautiful grandkids too. They're just, I mean, like doll babies. They so are cute. These pretty beautiful, what are they? Green eyes? Oh my God, piercing eyes. And that is it for Telli Talks.